We have something that is the lowest price we have found. It is the Le Creuset 2.25-quart signature cast iron braiser with a glass lid. This is an encore presentation of our big deal from earlier this week. You are saving $34 if you get it with QVC, and you also are getting that reduced shipping and handling as well. So that would be $13.97. You're getting half off for that. Shipping and handling will be $6.97. This should be $199, but you are able to get this for $164.98. That breaks down to 5 easy payments of $33. Comparable retail value, we're talking $290. So this really is an incredible deal. Before it's gone means, or big deal means before it is gone. So you decide whether you want our cerise, which that is the French word for cherry, I learned today. That is our red. Then we have that Marcel, which is your blue. And this sticker in the front is something you remove. So you've got that great logo, but you just take that off before you cook. Then we have our oyster. You can see that this is that ombre look. So you've got that lighter tone of gray at the top, all the way down to the bottom with that gray, darker gray. On QVC.com, we have our flame. That is our most limited. We only have 120 of that to go around. I love that color. And then we have our sea salt. So that's that lighter blue option. Again, 5 easy payments of $33 to get this home. This is exclusive to QVC right now, and this price is unbelievable. You'd be paying $290 if you got it somewhere else. And we've had over how many ordered? 2,900 ordered at this price, so do not wait. Now, this is something that you are going to use if you want to saute. You want to do that little shallow stir fry option. But I am someone who is not super comfortable in the kitchen, but I'm ready to learn. And we have the best teaching us today. We have Greg Shockley joining us. He is a chef and has a catering business as well. So he knows how to cook for the masses. Greg, it is so great to be with you and so great to see these incredible deals for Le Creuset.
Absolutely. I mean, for our 100th anniversary, we're so proud to bring it to you. I love this pan. This is absolutely a great pan because it's just my wife and I. So the size of this at 2.25 quarts, it's absolutely perfect. But John, at the cornerstone of what Le Creuset is really all about, it's the cast iron.
Right.
It's that heat retention and that heat distribution, which really makes the difference out of all of the other cookware out there. Even the other cast iron products. We were the first to bring colored enamel to the market. And 100 years later, we're so proud that we're still doing it today. Now, I'm going to start off by showing you this amazing right here. We've got a great chuck roast right here that we're doing. So we're making a pot roast. Now, all these dishes I'm doing in the same pot, no other pan needed. So you're actually just going to be able to create this in layers. So what we did, since we have this sand enamel in here, which really promotes caramelization and easy release, we've got beautiful golden brown on our beef here. So, and that's what you want. On all of your proteins and of your vegetables, you want to start getting that, developing that flavor. And now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we have all these little brown bits, which are at the bottom of the pan here, and that's called fond. And what that is that's just little brown bits off of the beef right here, and that's flavor.
Okay.
So when I already added my mirepoix, which is my onions, my carrots, and my celery. I'm going to add a little bit of my my broth right there, my stock, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of red wine, just for flavor. Now, all the alcohol is definitely going to cook this out because we're going to be cooking this for about 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
Okay.
But what you're going to see is all those brown bits are going to release right from the bottom right there, and that's going to be the basis for our sauce. So all we're going to need to do is lid this guy up. We're going to put it in our oven at about 275 degrees for probably about 3 hours, and that should really do it. And of course, I've got a finished product right here. We're going to take the lid off of here. And by the way, when you cook for a long time and you've got a beef product or anything, it is going to leave a little mark on the glass right here, but don't worry about that. Little Scrub Daddy's going to take care of that, so do not worry.
Great.
So let's just see what we got right here. All right, take a look. Beautiful, fall apart pot roast.
Oh, wow.
With just an absolutely amazing gravy. We've even threw a couple potatoes in there. We've got our onions, our carrots, our celery. All that's going on in there as well. And then get a little bit of that gravy. And it's really rich and flavorful and decadent. And all you had to do is cook this in one pan.
I'm coming over to your house. This looks delicious, but
you're invited.
The thing about Le Creuset is that you were able to do this in the comfort of your own home. That's right. This is especially made to make mealtime easier and to get that incredible quality. And the fact that for 100 years. You've been bringing us the best of the best. And not only is it something that is practical, that you can use every single day, but this on your counter really is that like mark of having that elevated kitchen.
Sure is.
It's
That's right.
really unbelievable. And we've got some great colors for you. So right there in front, you see that Marcel, that is our blue option. And again, this is something you just peel right off before you put it in the oven. To my right, we have our cerise, which is that cherry. That's the red. Then over on the left, we have our oyster option. I love the ombre look to this. And then over on QVC.com, we have two more for you. We have that sea salt, which is that lighter pale kind of blue. And then we have our flame. Flame is most popular. We've had more than 100, we only have 115 remaining in our flame. So do not wait on that. This is the encore presentation of our big deal. Now, this is exclusive to QVC. If you went out to another retailer, you would be paying closer to $290. The fact that you can get this for $164.98, do not miss out on the chance to pick this up. Now, when we talk about the cast iron, what is the care for this?
The care is really simple. I'll tell you the truth. When, especially when cleaning, even when I did the pot roast right here, where you could noticeably it had a lot of stains on it, Scrub Daddy, a little salt or soap and water is going to pretty much do it every single time. It is dishwasher safe, but I've never once put mine in the dishwasher. Had need to.
Okay.
So that's all you really need.
And tell me a little bit about that enamel coating, because that's really what sets this apart.
Right. This is coated all around in the enamel, but the inside has that sand enamel interior, which promotes really easy release, and it also isn't a snap to clean up. Now here you're seeing the process in which it goes to make it. We've got the base coats that we put on there.
Okay.
And you see multiple layers of that enamel coating in there. And as we add those coats, it continues to get that ombre color. And then even the best part, the more you use your pan, the more it's going to develop some of those deep, rich ombre colors as well. So you can kind of almost see who uses their pans or not, right? You can see that.
Right. It really is. This is something you can tell who's using it, who's loving it every single day. But this is something that it is the mark of, you know, that togetherness, that time with family. I see my mom pull this out when we were all home for dinner, and I'm like, oh, we're going to have a great meal tonight.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? It does make all your food taste better. And honestly, I've heard so many people over the years talk about, you know, I got my first piece, and now I know the difference. You know, I've used I've used aluminum, I've used steel, I've used all kinds of other materials, but now I use cast iron. And they tried it with a Dutch oven or whatever, and they're all taste better. Their recipes taste better. It just, the reason is because you develop those beginning flavors. If you don't start with great food, you're never going to end with great food. And if you don't have the right cookware, you're never going to be able to make truly great food. It's all about technique and the way you do things. And like Creuset really lets you do that.
Now, what else are you cooking up over there? I see a lot of things. I see a lot of cast iron on the fire over there.
I know. I've got a few things going for us, but I wanted to show you, just because of this size. I mean, a lot of times our pots are large and meant to do really large quantities. Now, this one is 2 1/4 quarts. So it's definitely on the smaller side, which we did on purpose. We wanted to make sure that we made something a little more manageable for the smaller households. But this has a lot of uses for it. You saw me doing a slow cooked braise like we might do in one of our Dutch ovens, but I'm doing a simple stir fry. I mean, this literally takes minutes. By the way, one little hint right here, when you're using cast iron products, as our cast iron products, we really recommend not going much higher than medium on your pan. Give it a little more time to heat up, but you don't need any extra heat on there. So it's going to get that caramelization that you want. If you go a little higher, it doesn't have, because the cast iron holds that heat, it doesn't come down as quickly as you're going to need to. So just medium is totally good. Otherwise, you might get some scorching. You don't want to have that.
Okay.
But this is just a nice, easy, quick stir fry in minutes. And the dish, the dish, I think, almost resembles like a paella pan. And if you think about it, paella pans are kind of, they come up on the ends. They've got the nice handles like this. They're easy to maneuver, just like ours. And, so as far as like the everyday use, this is a perfect thing. I did, it's not just for that kind of cooking. You can actually bake in this as well. This is a frittata that I did in the pan, and I just took it right out. But if you notice, this slid right out of there. The bottom is just absolutely beautifully finished. And that's the great part of the cast iron as well, is that it cooks all the way through. So when it holds that heat, the whole pan gets hot. So it's not just one section. You never have any hot spots. You never have any burn spots. It's all going to be an even, nice, gentle heat.
It's incredible. And the fact that I was thinking I am in like wedding mode. I am in 5 weddings this year. And
Are
I
you
think
really?
of everything.
5 weddings? My gosh.
I know. I did something wrong. I was too nice.
Yeah,
but
you're a good friend.
yeah,
Right?
but
You must give good gifts. They're like, we got to invite him.
well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, it's really hard when you think of all of those registries or buying people gifts, whether it's showers, whether it's big life events of graduation. This is one of those gifts that the second they see the box, they are going to be jumping for joy. And the fact that you were able to get this at the best price we have found, this is the time to pick this up. It has already been super popular. Do not wait. When this should be $290 at retail, you were able to get this for $164.98 at QVC. And you get that advantage of those 5 easy payments at QVC, where this breaks down to 5 easy payments of $33. If you were looking for that wow gift for someone or for yourself to really invest in yourself and give that gift to, you know, improve maybe your cooking or improve mealtime or make it a little more exciting, this is that chance. So you just decide which color you want. Now we have that cherry, which is the cerise, the red.
Cerise.
Then we have our Marcel, that is our blue.
Marseille.
Oh, Marseille. Thank you. You know, my French is very bad. That's why I need you. Then we have your oyster. I can say that one.
Right.
On QVC.com, we have our sea salt. And most popular is our flame. We have fewer than 100 of our flame to go around. And as Greg was saying, this is really something that is versatile in the kitchen. You're getting that great cast iron brazier and that glass lid, so you can really trap in that moisture with the lid. But this is something that you use, and if you keep it on the stovetop, if you keep it out on display in your kitchen, it's going to look beautiful as well. Now, you have a lot of different dishes going on over there, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, we went all out. We always do for these. But, you know, one of the other great things I love to do with this, so I've got some salmon in here, and you pointed out the lid. So we've got our cook and look lid right here. So obviously it's see-through. I cooked the salmon here, so I wanted to make a nice, healthy salmon dish. So what I did is I lined my pan with some orange slices at the bottom. I laid my salmon right on top. I put some asparagus in there, and then I topped that with a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of salt and pepper. I lid this up. I cooked this right on the stovetop. So you don't need to necessarily go in the oven every single time, and you definitely don't need to use the lid every time. You know, you can just use it as you think you need it. So I cooked this with the lid on it. So what I was letting this do, I was letting the salmon kind of poach and steam at the same time. So what we've got here is beautifully delicate salmon. Let me just pull this out. It's probably going to fall apart a little bit. But it's nice and juicy and tender. It's not dry because we cooked it in a little white wine and a little bit of stock. By the way, when you're cooking these things, you want to make sure that, you know, if you have asparagus or your other vegetables, you want to keep in mind what the temperature, how long those are going to need to cook. Because if they take, you know, a very short time, you're going to want to add those a little bit later in the cook. But these happen to cook right at the same time. So I've got all my beautiful poached salmon. You can finish off, give a little squeeze of that extra lemon on there, and maybe a little bit of the orange, and then a little bit of this beautiful broth too, because that's, you know, remember we got white wine in there, a little bit of butter, and the drippings from the salmon. So it's almost like our little beurre blanc that the pan created for us.
It's so incredible. And the fact that you were able to get these, you know, gourmet restaurant style meals in the comfort of your own home. This is the time to really act on it. And this is the lowest price that we have found. If you are just tuning in, this is an encore presentation of that big deal from earlier this week where you were saving $34 off that QVC price, which should be $199. But comparable retail value is $290. You can get this home for $164.98. If you were thinking of those great gifts, if you were thinking of that way to upgrade your kitchen, or you've just been wanting this, this is the time to pick it up. You will not be disappointed. You decide whether you want our cerise. Did I say that right? Cerise, red. Then we have your Marseille, darn. Marseille, blue. Then we have your oyster, say Marseille. Then on QVC.com, we have your sea salt and the flame. Only 90 remaining in that flame. Item number K99449. We've had close to how many? 3,000 orders since it became our big deal. Do not miss out on the chance to pick that up. Item number K99449.